welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Jack Whitehall, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Carl Donnelly. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture from this week's Labour Party conference, but what does EMDB stand for?
Is it how Ed Miliband was chosen? Eeny, meeny, dibble, bibble.
Is it Ed, marvellous double-crossing bastard?
David is threatening Ed and he's reminding him of something he used to do. Remember, Ed, make damp bed.
Looking at the acting on David's face, is it Elder Miliband deserves BAFTA?
Is it what David should have done the minute he was born? Eradicate my dad's bollocks.
Is it Ernie marginally defeats Bert?
Is it something to do with the way Ed's standing? Is it Ed Miliband disguises boner?
I reckon it's just a headline from the Daily Mail, isn't it? Evil Marxist dictator bastards.
I'm going to move towards the correct answer for Cameron.
Does the E stand for Ed?
Yes.
Does the M stand for Miliband?
Yes, it does. You're very
Does
good
the
at
D
this game.
stand for David and does the B stand for Billy Band? Is it a bit of scandal? Is it Ed's mother is David's brother? Is it Ed Miliband defeats brother?
It is indeed. Thank you very much. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Ed Miliband defeats brother. This is the news that Ed Miliband has become the new leader of the Labour Party after a nail-biting build-up at the party's conference in Manchester. Ed narrowly defeated his elder brother and clear favourite David in one of the biggest upsets in recent British political history.
Don't you think it was really weird? Because in his acceptance speech, Ed Miliband said, "Never in my wildest imagination did I think I would become leader of this party." And you think, why did he stand then? He must have had a sort of vague idea it was a possibility. He must understand how elections... If we want a leader who doesn't understand how elections work, we might as well send a passport to Robert Mugabe.
They're trying to encourage him to actually, you know, state where he is. Is he Blairite? Is he Brownite?
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's saying he's his own man, but Milibandite, it doesn't really sound like a political philosophy, does it? Sounds more like a strong adhesive, you know? Don't use glue, use Milibandite.
So they glue him to the back of the wall and the party conference and slowly lower the wall forward. Is that fine? Milibandite is perfect.
He has the look of somebody on The Apprentice. Ever since it's been announced that he's the leader, he's got this look on his face of, oh, no, I didn't mean that to happen. When he stood up to give his leader's speech, I genuinely thought he was going to start by going, am I being punked?
He looks like Beaker out of the Muppets. I love him.
Yeah, it's all me with him.
Because they look quite similar, but not similar enough to, like... Because if they looked a little bit more similar, they could do that stuff that they did in Parent Trap, where they could pretend to be each other. It's like, turn up. Like, David would turn up and be like, oh, it's Ed, isn't it? Yeah, it's Ed. So I'll go do my speech now. Africa, schmafrica. What about gays? And then he'd be fine.
It's a great plan. It's one of the best plans I've ever heard. Turn up and deliver Africa, schmafrica. What about the gays?
It's Africa, schmafrica speech.
The famous I have a schmadreen. What factor allowed Ed to narrowly defeat his brother in this?
Well, this is supposed to be the unions.
Yes.
The annoying thing now is that the papers are calling him Red Ed. If you read the Daily Mail, they say, who has been dubbed Red Ed? Yeah, by you.
They're calling him Red Ed partly because he's got left-wing policies,
yes,
but mainly because it rhymes with Ed.
Yes.
That is
It's
most
unfortunate,
of it.
yeah.
You know, there are lots of things that rhyme with Ed. He is in a bit of trouble, isn't he? Because if he does move slightly to the right, then it'll be right said Ed, you know? He gets married, wed Ed, you know? He wakes up with a bad hair day, bedhead, you know? It's just going to go on and on.
I like the fact as well, all the newspapers made a big thing of saying, oh, their policies are very different, even though they're brothers. I thought it'd be quite cool if there was more political brothers that just came out of the woodwork. It's like, oh, yeah, hello, I'm Colin Mugabe, and my favourite festival is Glastonbury, because I love anything that is run by a rich white farmer.
To make up for the sibling rivalry, though, didn't Ed say he'd give David any job he wanted? But that leaves it open from just... Could he get revenge by just making up a job? He'd ask for, like, this shadow Mac Daddy of the Exchequer or something. Anything he wanted.
Surely if he goes, I'll give you any job you want, how about leader of the Labour Party?
David's hand gestures during his speech. He gave a speech the next day where he was talking about Ed all the time, but there was a camera focused on his hands, and he was going, the thing about Ed, we have to work together. Quite extraordinary. And he kept referring to him as special over and over again. Ed is a special person. He might as well have winked. I think we know what I mean.
And his wife, and references to his poor partner, who was upset, obviously, because her husband had lost out in his dream, but kept going on about how upset she was, and she was a violinist. She was upset, and she was a violinist. These two facts were in every piece, as if she spent 4 days fiddling furiously.
Coming off it.
Yes. Twang, twang, sort of one string.
The first poll that came out after he was elected leader had Labour slightly ahead. Pollsters are constantly bringing things out all the time. Who are you going to vote for? They're nagging the whole... Did we not tell you who we're going to vote? I'm pretty sure we told you who we will vote for and then voted for them. Stop asking us. Pollsters, they're like opticians, pollsters. It's just, and now, and now, and now. Shut up.
In other news, what problems has the police been having with their e-fit pictures? Have you seen this?
I have seen it.
Yes, it is very good. Police in Hampshire released an e-fit. E-fit is like the new technologically advanced photo fit. Have you seen this man picture? And they released one during the week, the Hampshire Constabulary, of a burglar who stole £60 from an old woman's purse. And this was a picture. If you've seen this man, you should report it. And people came out with the police saying it was the police's fault. It's clearly the witness who had no green, no definitely green. His hair was... Right, so he looks like Jimmy White, but with a green, like a Shrek wig. Something like dressed as the Joker broke into your house.
All you can say to that, though, if you're a bald man and a robber, get yourself an iceberg lettuce, hold it behind your head, and only attack very short-sighted people.
Larry, people might have green hair.
Yeah, I know, but you wouldn't presume it's easy enough to trap somebody with green hair. Oh, yeah, you want green hair Dave. Yeah, he was... He had for his movements last night.
It looks like the outcome if Keith Harris had sex with Orville.
I
can't. You can. I can't. You can.
Can I sing me song now? Whatever. Please yourself.
And apparently they still can't find the man. But my suggestion would be that he's lying low in some allotments.
At the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Carl. Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask Hugh to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features the royal family.
Oh, I hate looking at houses. Yes, well, hopefully this next property will really float your boat, Your Majesty. It's difficult downsizing, but the owner may take an offer. It's been on the market since 1584. It's damp and it's got no roof.
Oh, what a waste of a morning. I could be shooting an osprey. Did you know, by the way, you've got a meringue on your head? Oh, look, there's a goat. Oh, that makes me feel peckish. Where are we staying?
In the Premier Inn.
Could you have that delivered to the Premier Inn? Room 256. Oh, and a shed load of pita bread. Thank you.
Where is Philip? Where is he? I need to talk to him about the ensuite.
I think you may be talking to a man about a goat, Your Majesty.
Oh, for God's sake, not again. So, anyway, tell me about this castle. Does it have a dungeon? We need somewhere to keep Fergie.
Oh, yes, they're bloody tasty. Slice them thinly, bit of chilli sauce. Problem is, catching them, you have to drop on them from above. Yeah.
Have you been banging on about goats again?
No, not who? Me? No, not at all, no. Do you like goats? Oh, my God, there's another one. They're everywhere. They're like Albanians. Yes.
Oh, goodbye, everyone. Sorry about my husband. Do you like the property? Well, I don't know. Have you asked them the question? Go on, ask them the question, please. Do I have to? Oh, all right. Is it near a kebab shop?
Now we play a round called Eat, Pray, Mock. This game involves Jack, Carl and Andy, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner, whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is... food. Who wants to come in on that?
I'll have that.
Carl.
I eat a lot of fast food. My favourite is actually Subway sandwiches. I don't know if anyone's been, but basically the thing that annoys me about it is I don't personally think it should take 3 people to make you a sandwich. If you've ever been, basically every time you pop in, you order food, a relay race kicks off. One guy gets your bread of choice out, cuts it, and then thinks, I can't carry on here. He then passes it to his friend in the middle, who puts your fillings of choice in, who again thinks that'll do me at this juncture. And the final guy, he wraps it up and charges you. Now, it's not that hard to make a sandwich. I managed quite well at home on my own. I've never been halfway through making a sandwich and suddenly thought, I need some backup. I actually had a strange event happen to me in a Subway where I went into one. I was the only person in the shop. I got to the counter and the guy went, how can I help you? I went, I'd have a 6-inch meatball marinara, please. At which point the guy broke the news to me. Sorry, mate, we're out of bread at the moment. What? Well, shut the shop then, right? What did he expect me to order at that point that warranted his question? Like, I was walking past thinking, do you know what I need right now? A cup of sweet corn. But what annoyed me even more was the fact that he didn't open with the no bread. If you work in a sandwich shop and you run out of bread, that's all you say. You don't even let people get through the door before you go, no bread! And he let me say the full name of my sandwich. As well as go, yeah, can I have a 6-inch meatball marinara? But rather than bread, I've got a plan, right? I'm going to walk along the front of the counter here with my mouth open. You just chuck the meatballs in as I go.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is identity. Who wants to come in on that?
I will. Well, yeah, so being Nigerian, that is the identity I most probably associate myself with. I've been a Nigerian a long time. One of the things that I love that Nigerian women do, it seems to be in our DNA, and that's to point with our lips for some reason. Like that. I don't know why, and it's not because our hands are full or anything. Like, and also, when you get really good at it, you can talk at the same time. So I've seen my mum just go, take this one and put it over here. So, I love it. And Nigerian men are amazing. I love Nigerian men. But there's one thing about them, right, Nigerian men. They cannot answer a question straight. Like, they've got to answer a question with another question. So you could ask them something as simple as, what's your name? And they'll be like, hey, come on now. What do you need to know my name for? You're like, well, it's standard procedure for a passport application. I don't make the rules. I hate my passport photo. I look like I've been caught in a lay-by with Hugh Grant.
OK, that leaves us with Jack. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. Topic is young people.
They look pretty mischievous. No, I've been in trouble once or twice before because I say the wrong thing when I get intimidated. And I get intimidated quite a lot. Like the night bus, I think, is the worst. When you go onto the night bus and you go onto the top deck and there's all these youths sat at the back like a pack of wolves and their hoodies playing their music really loudly on their mobile phones. I found out the hard way. They don't like it when you make requests. I didn't know what I was doing. I was drunk. I turned round. The leader of the pack staring at me. He's like, hey, bruv, what do you want? Cheryl Cole, Fight for This Love. I panic. I say the wrong thing. Like, I did a student gig quite recently at the University of Warrington. It was quite a hostile environment. I went up on stage before I'd done any of my material. The big guy in the front row got up from his seat and was like, oi, mate, get on with your jokes. I came here for the comedy. And I said, no, you didn't. You came because you screwed up your A-levels. I think it's something I get from my parents, because my parents are very confrontational. They're Pisces and Capricorns, obviously. They're always at each other's throats. I do all that zodiac thing, by the way, like, I don't get on with my sister's new boyfriend because I'm a Leo and he's a bellend.
OK, points go to Andy and Jack. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Carl, which category would you like?
Sports, please.
OK, your category is sport, and the answer is 7 years. What is the question?
Is it how long would Chris Moyles have to not be paid for before I gave a shit?
One of the largest spontaneous and heartfelt applause we've had.
Is it how long is it since Eamon Holmes last saw his feet?
Whereas the audience can't turn.
No, they don't.
Is it how many years of good luck would you get if you broke Jeremy Clarkson's face?
What is the average age of a construction worker at the Commonwealth Games?
Is it after how long would the Chilean miners decide that it's not gay if it happens underground?
Is it how old is the Earth according to Sarah Palin?
Is it how long does it take Dara to put a polo neck on?
What is the longest recorded phone call between my wife and her mother?
Is it how many of my school years were spent being called Screech from Saved by the Bell?
How long does it take the idiot in front of you to use the self-checkout?
Self-checkout, I love that.
Is it...
I tell you what, I'm in Tesco's and just going to check out the prostate.
I think it's only in Lidl you're allowed to expose those sorts of things.
Illegal item in the bagging area. Illegal item in the
Lidl bagging in the item area.
Yeah. Can we get the correct answer, please?
How long ago were the Indians aware that they were going to have to build the Commonwealth Games?
That is absolutely right. Very good. Well done. Yes, the question I was looking for was how much time has Delhi had to prepare for the crisis-hit Commonwealth Games, which reports claim are still not ready. The city won the right to host the Games in 2003, but the build-up to the event has been plagued by fears that facilities and accommodation might not be completed on time and to a safe standard. So what's been going wrong?
Well, the ceiling of the weightlifting area collapsed. I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it? And there he is. He's holding up 200 kilograms and the roof!
That is, yes, that's one of them. Anything else, go?
People were making the distinction between filth and excrement. That's not a reassuring distinction to make, is it? Is that excrement? My bed is bobbing around and don't worry, mate, that's just filth. Oh, fine. Wait when it's time to swim to the venue.
It was a combination of basically exposed wiring and flooding. And that's probably not a great combination, is it? A man has jumped further than any human in history by merely trying to turn on his bathroom lights.
Philip Sado claimed in an interview that he's not going because of the safety precautions. But I'd read afterwards, he's from Hackney.
Collapsing buildings are going to be good for world records. Nothing will make you run quicker than thinking the main stand is about to come on you.
A lot of athletes are incredibly wussy about the accommodation. The Australians, a lot of Australians aren't going. So an Australian, you'd think, you know, I've wrestled crocs, I've been bitten by a shark, but oh no, it's badly grouted.
I think the fear isn't bad grouting, it's dengue fever from stagnant water pools. And to be fair now, because this is the hockey training ground that they have at the moment. Well, that's a fair... You got to even for a hockey pitch, that's a lot of stagnant water and metal poles.
I think an outbreak of mosquitoes is going to make it quite exciting viewing, though, isn't it? Watching all the runners running along like this. You know, the hop, skip and slap's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Course, it'll be very difficult for deaf people watching because all the guys out there interpreting.
I think deaf people don't need that much interpretation on a race. I think they can generally spot.
They have to go really fast.
Yeah.
There's a marathon today. Can I mean,
I went to India. I was quite shocked, actually, by the stuff. Because when you go out, you find out you have to eat with one hand and wipe your bum with the other hand. And I was nervous that I'd forget which one was used for which. But I'm sensible, Dara, so I used cutlery. But after a while, it really began to hurt my bum.
I think, though, for the Commonwealth Games, this presents a unique opportunity for boxers. It'll be the one and only time they can start off the competition as a heavyweight and by the end of the competition be fighting as a featherweight. That little bucket by the side of the ring is going to have seen more action than they've ever expected before. No!
You know what they had removed from one of the rooms in the Athletes' Village?
A snake.
A snake, a cobra, was in one of the bedrooms in South Africa. And they said, I don't know what you're worried. We gave you a basket and a small horn. You play the horn and the cobra will go back into the basket. A cobra! Like, that's a valid safety complaint, surely.
But it's a double whammy as well. You get bitten by a cobra, they give you an anti-venom, and then they disqualify you for having an illegal substance in your bloodstream.
What animals have been brought in?
Camels.
No, not camels, no.
Penguins.
Not penguins.
Bears.
No, monkeys.
Is it a narwhal?
It's not a narwhal. Stop naming random animals, right?
Is it a muskrat?
It's not a muskrat. I've already said the word monkeys while you carried on naming
Is it monkeys?
It's monkeys. Well done, yeah. It is monkeys. Trained monkeys have been brought in. Langur monkeys are called. And what are they there to do?
Moving sofas.
Yeah.
No.
Sell T-shirts.
No, they're there to stop other monkeys getting into the...
They're monkey bouncers.
They're monkey bouncers. They've got a list of other monkeys.
Your species isn't down, you're not coming in.
Sorry.
Why are they wearing...
And if you don't back away, I will fling shit at you, all right?
Because the plumbing's rubbish. They're there to test in case the baths are too hot. If they get in and they go... It could mean either, to be honest.
I was trying to think of what is the worst event, right, to do if you've got the shits, right? And I thought weightlifting. That has got to be the worst, isn't it? You know, you push up, the whole idea that every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
At the end of that round, the points go to Jack, Andy and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear in a quiz show.
Well, welcome to Junior Mastermind, our annual competition to find the best nerdy, specky, knobby no-mates in Britain. 2010.
We asked 100 people, name something you eat with a spoon. And the top answer was, piss off, I'm busy.
So, Nick Griffin, you were the weakest link in that round, and yet you chose to get rid of Rashid. Why?
And on tonight's Family Fortunes, we're joined by the Fritzels and the Wests.
So, Noel, your soul for a resurrected career. Deal or no deal?
Ooh, this one has really stumped Steve from the Eggheads. The question was, what is it like to have sex with a woman?
Welcome to Weakest Link Bankers Edition. You've banked nothing, scored nothing, and yet you still have a bonus.
You have one lifeline left. That's calling your country's government to see whether they will accept our demands.
We asked 100 people, where is the G-spot? You've given us your answer. If it's up there, love, I'll give you the money myself.
So this question for £100. What is your PIN number?
60 quid for half a gram of coke. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
I'm Dale Winton, and you've got to be in it to win it. And by that, of course, I mean my bottom.
The next topic is lines you wouldn't hear in an action movie.
Right, I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or just 5? To be honest, in all the kerfuffle, I've kind of lost count myself. But seeing as how this is a .44 Magnum, which is the most powerful shotgun in the world, could blow your head clean off, you've got to ask yourself, what am I like?
If I press this button, you will witness the worst thing you could possibly imagine. Channel 5.
I know you're mad, Max, but getting drunk and blaming everything on the Jews isn't going to help.
First, Mr. Bond, I plan to aim the giant laser at the world. And then... Oh, fuck, this cat shot me again.
OK, men, this is the plan. We tunnel under the wire, we make a dash for Blighty, and hopefully we'll never, ever have to compete in the Commonwealth Games again.
I want your clothes, your boots, and your unicycle.
There is a bomb on this bus, but we think we know who's got it. But if we get this wrong, we might look a bit racist.
Batman, it's Catwoman. She says she's been thrown in a wheelie bin.
They beat him, they kicked him, they shot him, they left him for dead. Now, he's dead.
Now, listen to me, Bourne. If you're not back in 10 minutes, your dinner goes in the bin. And yes, that is an ultimatum.
Luke, I am your father.
Really? You're black.
I'm Iron Man, doing what I do best. Ironing.
Which box do I put it in?
Terminator 5. Recycling Day.
I am Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the Legions of the North, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Gladiator! Ready!
At the end of that round, the points go to Jack, Andy and Andy! And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Jack Whitehall. Commiserations to Chris Allison, Hugh Dennis and Carl Donnelly. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Green. Good night.
Dappy from N-Dubs or Terry Nutkins? Who would you choose to be the leader of the pack? Whacked out comedy The King is Dead on BBC 3 now. And tomorrow night here on BBC 2, Stephen Fry gives his ever so eloquent all on The Rob Brydon Show. That's at 10.